And we're recording. All right. All right, we are back for more. You know me, I'm Jack Mangan. I'm actually not wearing a metal shirt today. Shame on me. You can punch my card. But over there, I actually don't know which direction we are because we're doing it a different way. This is not live. This is a recording. This is still Metal Asylum. I'm Jack Mangan from MetalAsylum.net, the Metal Hall of Fame, and the Am I Evil graphic novel. And over there in Jersey,
Rich Catino from Metal Asylum and Brave Words and Metal Hall of Fame and Sea of Tranquility. And I'm wearing Queen.
always
Not metal, but hard rock that is the roots of heavy metal. So there you
That's
go.
right. And you know, U68 used to play Queen on the Power Hour. They used to.
They did?
Yeah, they did. I remember. Well, they would come up on the
Which
Power Hour.
video? Which song?
Bohemian Rhapsody, actually.
Oh, well, that fits. That goes
Yeah,
into that headbanging section. So there you
yeah.
go.
This is pre-Wayne's World. This is when only we were
Yeah.
hipsters with Queen because only us guys on the inside knew about it.
That was a
Um,
local channel in New Jersey, New York, New Jersey area.
yeah, for those of you who aren't in the know, yeah, it's a UHF channel. So
Yeah, it
there you go, Weird Al fans. Yeah, it was a UHF channel where
was awesome.
all day long they play other stuff like alternative and pop, but then from 11
Right,
p.m. to 12 p.m. they play all metal. So it was really
right.
our only option because MTV was not playing metal at that time.
And you could see everything from Rat, which you just quoted back from War in honor of Tony Katane passing away.
Yeah,
So you could see from like Rat to Motley Crue to Motorhead and Iron Maiden, and then that's how you would see bands like Raven and Grim Reaper because they would play their videos too. It was very cool.
that's where I discovered Raven. Queensryche,
Hmm.
I'd never heard. That's where I heard them for the first time.
Right, that's where they would play The Warning. Do you remember they played The Warning?
Yeah, that's where I
Was
discovered
it
them.
was from the Japanese thing, right? The Japanese concert,
Right, it was a live show. Yeah, yeah,
and Take
and
Hold of the Flame, which is a video, so they played that too.
probably I don't remember it, but I believe you.
Yeah.
TNT, I discovered through
Yes,
U68.
it was either 10,000 Lovers or what was the other? Seven Seas, I think, right? Those
Yeah, it was
two?
actually with Seven Seas is the song I discovered, and
Yeah.
I really dug it. And
Hell yeah,
Razor,
that riff, those riffs that guy had, Ronnie Latrico, if
yeah,
I pronounced it right,
I think it's
killer riffs.
Latecro. Yeah,
Ecro or Latrico, yeah.
he's amazing. Sapphire from the Tell No Tales album was such an incredible, just groovy solo.
Yeah,
It's his eruption. It's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
Definitely an underrated, overlooked band on some levels.
yeah. I wish it's guys. The time's ticking. You guys got to get back together because they've been apart for. They're
And
still
come back to America because they barely ever toured here.
Yeah, exactly. And they're huge overseas. Like you can see if you go out to
Yeah.
YouTube and find there's a symphonic version of Seven
Oh
Seas
yeah.
where it's amazing.
Yep.
This was not our topic, but this is
It
what happens.
wasn't, but why not?
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we're keeping this one short. This is don't want to call it a test, but this is like a pilot recording. Rich and I are going to see if we can do this. So we're not live, so you can comment and shit later.
We'll post it later.
That's right. But anyway, so Rich, tell the world all the cool stuff that you are listening to right now.
All right. The last few reviews that went up on Brave Words and a couple of Metal Asylum, because I post it both sometimes, I'm looking right now, the Smith Kotzen, Adrian Smith, Richie Kotzen, solo, not solo album, but project collaboration. Right. The Orden Ogan album, do you know those guys?
Yeah, I got to check them out.
German, traditional metal, power metal at times, a little bit of both.
Yeah, yep.
Evil, which is pretty decent. I still like the Skull better, the previous album, Skull.
Yeah.
Hell Unleashed, that came out.
It's pretty thrashy, yeah.
Yeah. And then the End Machine Phase 2. That's that project band with Jeff Pilson, George Lynch, Robert Mason from Warrant, and Mick Brown's brother. I think his name's Mike. His brother plays drums on the album.
Nice.
So what else? At Metal Asylum we got here. A couple of the smaller bands that people probably don't know. Liquid Steel and Steel Fox.
Yeah, I haven't listened to those. I read your reviews.
Traditional metal bands. And the two new recent things I'm getting into that I'm totally in the rabbit hole with is the new Vulture album. You've heard of those guys, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah. I know we've discussed them. Yeah,
Deal and Death, I think it's called. If I'm correct, I think it's Deal and Death, and then the new, and then the new, yeah, it's Deal and Death, and then the new Flotsam and Jetsam, Blood in the Water.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's killer.
that's going to be in my top 10 for sure this year.
Yeah, it's killer album. I mean, it's honestly, I'd have to really listen, but my first impression is it's maybe their best.
Well, their last two are great. The self-titled one and the previous one.
Yeah, I mean, not that they were a bad band ever, but I'm saying like I think
No,
they've found a new life. That's that
yeah,
I really like the new one a lot.
yeah. What was the
Nice.
previous album called?
Uh,
Chaos or something like that, I think.
yeah, I'd have to.
I gotta look it up. I should know the title. So go ahead. What are you listening to?
So for me, I am really digging this year. The Vintage Caravan right now is my album of the year. It's got just a great kind of retro, kind of proggy, but not like overwhelming. It's not like 20, like the songs are all like under 5 minutes. Granted, I
Uh,
like that stuff. I like the Spock's Beard world and all that stuff too. But this. It's just good. It's a perfect mix of everything I like. They've opened for Opeth in the past, so if that gives you a little bit of a clue what they sound like. It's the Vintage Caravan. The album's called Monuments. It's great stuff. The new Hellstar. It's a double album. It's really fantastic. James
I have
Rivera
to
just
listen to it. I haven't yet, but I will. It's
he
on my
just
list.
he just and credit to the whole band, but he's just he truly is a vampire. He truly is immortal. The guy is just it's amazing what he's still doing. Um,
Well, Hellstar's been around since like 84, I want to say.
yeah, I think that's
80,
right.
83, 84, somewhere around there. Burning Star came out.
I think that's yeah. I think when we talked to him, he told us that
Yeah.
they had been around a little bit longer than that. But yeah, and
Mm.
he's got that other project he's doing. He's got a couple of things coming out this year. So keep an eye on James Rivera. The guy is
The Flotsam album was the end of Chaos. I was close.
the
That
end
was the
of
previous
chaos.
album. And then the self-titled one was in 2016, which was another great one.
Yeah, I like the new stuff. I like the old stuff. The kind of the middle period, I'm a little rusty on. I need to check it out. But they're
That's because I'm looking at their discography right now. That's from, I would say, Drift, which is 95,
yeah,
up to 2012, which was Ugly Noise. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 albums to catch up on.
yeah, and I'll admit I'm a little rusty on that, and I should because it's Arizona's own Flotsam Jetsam. Um,
Yeah.
but speaking of Arizona's own, or at least someone who's adopted Arizona like I have, I'm currently reading Confess. I know I'm a couple months behind. I'm currently reading Rob Halford's autobiography. I'm not all the way through it. Fascinating. He's a fascinating guy. I've learned some fascinating tidbits, like the details of Priest's breakup, and he talks about one little spoiler from the book. He talks about how in the early days, when they all got drunk with Iron Maiden, and he says like he brought Paul Diano back to his room with the intention of trying to seduce him, but they were both just too wasted like for anything to happen. And he
Does he
says
talk? Go ahead.
Paul he says he doesn't even know if Paul Diano would have gone for it. He doesn't even know.
Uh,
That's what he says in the book, though, that he was too wasted to make a pass at him, and that Paul Diano was too wasted to even notice. So he says, but there's a lot of cool little tidbits in the book. And,
does
some
he
mental
go
health.
like, does he go through all the albums, like talk about the recording and the songs and things like that, or he just kind of goes over them a little bit?
He actually, that's one thing I'm really pleased about in the book. Is that a lot of times these autobiographies are like, oh yeah, we released an album anyway. So I was at
Right,
home, and then and he does touch on a lot of his personal stuff. He does a really good mix of
right.
telling
Back and
his
forth
personal
between
story.
that and the music.
Yeah, and he really talks about the albums and the experiences, and
Cool.
I just passed the chapter where he talks about the court case, where
Okay.
they got sued because
Right,
over some kids or the family blamed Judas Priest
right,
for the suicides, which is it's tragic, but it's also
right,
not Priest's fault. He talks about
right.
the case, and like I said, I'm right up there. I'm actually to the point where I'm up to the 2 era of his story.
Is
Um,
there an album that he doesn't like? Does he say it?
um, Yeah, well, again, spoilers. Yeah, he actually agrees with most of the fan consensus. He agrees that Point of Entry was kind of a half-assed album.
Hmm.
Um, and again, he likes the same songs we do. Desert Plains and of course, Head Out to the Highways. He
Hmm.
acknowledges that those are great songs, but he kind of admits like, yeah, they just kind of half-assed it on that one. He
That
talked,
that's the album with Solar Angels too, right?
yeah, I don't remember if he
Really
mentions
like
that
that.
one.
I really like that song too.
I like that album actually, but it's
Yeah, it's half and half.
yeah, I mean, it's the worst of that era by far, by a long stretch. I mean, there's so many
I
great
think
albums.
I think Ram It Down's worse than that.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking of that as that era. I'm saying like,
Mhm.
from like
Oh, okay.
From Hellbent for Leather up to like Turbo, or even,
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
actually, right, Ram It Down is before Painkiller. So
Right.
you're right. But yeah, he talks about those albums very candidly, so it's cool. And he talks about the problems with Turbo and how much he loved some of the songs, and had,
Yeah.
how he was in a bad place at that time and he's phoning it in. So it's a great read. Everyone should read it. I mean, it's the Metal God. But
Yep.
so you can't, as I've been reading it, I'm like, I have to go back and re-listen to these albums. Of course, I know that this is not like I'm discovering these albums, but like I'm going back and listening to Sin After Sin and
Right.
stuff from the
Yeah.
classic, the early days, just the classics. And it's great.
Yeah.
Those albums, like you and I talked about this when we weren't recording. Like you can't, there's so much to listen to. You can't just spend your whole life listening to 5 Priest albums and 5 Maiden albums.
Right.
So it's been a while. So I went back and listened to these albums, and they really hold up. The early Priest is so good.
It's a very creative period
Yeah,
because
yeah,
no two albums are the same between Rock-a-Rolla and um, I'd say British Steel.
yeah.
After British Steel, there's a lot of commonalities between albums. Like Defenders and Screamers are almost like brother and sister albums, I'd say.
That's what you make a really good point. And it's something I hadn't considered. Yeah, every album, and actually, I would say, well, those are the exception, because then, of course, Turbo sounds really different, and then Ram It Down sounds different, and
Right.
of course, Painkiller sounds really different. So the only two that I think are siblings are, like you said, Screaming for Vengeance and
Right.
Defenders. I
Right.
mean, maybe like Stained Class, and I don't know, maybe some of the ones in the '70s are a
And
little
Sin
bit.
After Sin, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Sin After Sin. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. There's a little bit of familiarity between them, but musically, the songs and stuff, they tried so many different things in those albums.
right. All right. Well, I hope this recorded.
Right.
So yeah, so
Yep.
let's cut it off here. Like I said, this is a good
Cool.
discussion. I want to keep going, but let's stop
We'll
here.
do another one. We'll do an actual episode.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to stop the recording, and hopefully we'll get this. Hopefully you're watching this right now on YouTube or on Facebook. But
And we'll
thank,
see you next time, guys.
yeah, thank you everyone. And as Rich mentioned, rest in peace. I saw the news last night and was hoping it was not true, but rest
Yeah.
in peace, Tawny Katane. She
Yep.
was
A lot of people don't realize she's on the cover of Out of the Cellar, and she's in the video for Back for More.
right. She was right. Exactly. She was in a lot more than just the White Snake
Yeah.
videos.
And an actress as well.
Yeah, she was in a lot of great B horror movies. She
Like
was not just.
Witchboard. Do you remember Witchboard?
Yes, yes. She
So
was great.
good. What a classic.
Yeah, it was a great horror movie.
Yep.
And she was absolutely known for the TNA, and she was beautiful, and she did it well. But she was more than that. I saw her
Yeah.
on. She was on the like one of those VH1 retrospective shows, and she really
Mm.
great. She was a really, really great mind too. So
If you watch her in Witchboard, she's a great actress. She's great on screen.
yeah, no, I agree. She was a great actress in a lot, and she never was in like a major A-list movie, but that's okay. That's completely okay by me.
Yeah.
So rest
Cool.
in peace. Rest in peace. Listen to Judas Priest. Check out Confess. Check out all the albums we just talked about, and we'll see you guys again soon.